run after an 18-year absence. The Giants returned to the playoffs and were victorious. Led by a rookie named Lawrence Taylor, they were called a team of the future, and for once, they were right. Under Bill Parcells, the Giants blossomed into a perennial playoff contender. The Eagles were the team the Giants defeated in that playoff game 5 years ago. The loss was devastating, and Philadelphia hasn't been back to the playoffs since. Few on Buddy Ryan's squad remember that 81 loss. Now the Eagles boast an explosive offense and a stubborn defense determined to end their playoff drought. So today, from the banks of the Hudson, Buddy Ryan's Eagles and Bill Parcells' Giants face off in an NFL Eastern Division showdown. The Eagles have won 2 in a row, but the New York Giants are riding high with a 4-game winning streak as they play today at Giants Stadium. In an important NFC East battle, the Dallas Cowboys are running roughshod over the Washington Redskins 30-6 in the fourth quarter. Let's assume that Dallas wins the game. The Redskins will suffer their first loss. The Giants can move into a tie for first with a victory, but if Philadelphia wins today, that really tightens up that NFC East. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and of course, it's been an historical weekend in Iceland with President Reagan and Soviet leader Gorbachev in their summit meeting. And of course, we'll be breaking away to CBS News as developments warrant. Meanwhile, talking about a big development this week, the New York Giants acquired Otis Anderson, the running back from the Cardinals, and my partner Dan Dierdorf played many years with Anderson. What are your feelings?
Well, the New York Giants, Dick, unhappy with the way their offense has been playing. Defensively, if they're not the best team in the league, they're awful close. Offensively, they've been a disappointment. Bill Parcells not happy. They go out and have acquired Otis Anderson. He will help the New York Giants. He'll play fullback, and he will play some today.
Buddy Ryan doesn't like him. He says, I've never been a fan of Otis Anderson. Speaking about the Eagles, with 2 in a row, what's been behind their success?
Well, they are starting to come together as a team, and I know that that is an overworked concept, coming together as a team, but it has been defense and offense. The 46 is now more than a number in Philadelphia. The last 2 weeks, they have throttled the Rams. They throttled the Atlanta Falcons. And offensively, against the Rams, we were told by Ron Jaworski, their quarterback, we finally put our best 11 people on the field.
The Eagles have won the toss, and they've received, and bring it out is Charles Crawford, a running back who brings it out beyond the 25-yard line, where the tackle is made by Perry Williams. And so Philadelphia with the ball, and Ron Jaworski, the quarterback, will be facing the New York Giant defense, which is as tough as you could find. Meanwhile, Martin, Burt, and Marshall are up front for the Giants. The linebackers are Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Taylor. Patterson and Williams are the cornerbacks. Hill and Kennard the safeties. Elvis Patterson starting after being on the sidelines to open the last 2 weeks. Jaworski and Keith Byers, the leading rusher for the Eagles, just gets a couple. And that's all. The rest of the Eagles' offense with Byers is Michael Haddix, Mike Quick, and Kenny Jackson, the wide receivers. Gillespie, Reeves, Feary, Baker, and Mitchell up front. And John Spagnola is the tight end. Gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9 at the 28-yard line. It's gotten cooler here in the last 15 minutes. We had sunshine, but now it's an overcast afternoon. Byers. Not much there. George Martin and Jim Burt up front making the tackle for the Giants. It'll be 3rd down. George Martin, the senior member of this club.
The Eagles, Dick, have had problems breaking Keith Byers loose. You know, he's rushing for less than 3 yards per carry, and in the National Football League, that is certainly substandard. The foot injury, of course, well publicized, but Buddy Ryan told us he's back 100% physically.
3rd and 6 at the 30. Penalty flag is down, and maybe a free play for Jaworski. He was going for Ron Johnson. Incomplete. Mark Collins on the coverage. And the referee today is Jerry Markbright.
Offside, number 70, defense, third down.
Leonard Marshall.
Leonard Marshall in the three-point stance. Oh, only about a yard across the ball. But look at Ron take a hit. Andy Hedden comes on in and makes the play on Jaworski. But a very short yardage situation now for Philadelphia. And interesting there, Dick, Randall Cunningham did not come in at quarterback for the Eagles. Maybe we'll see more of Jaworski in that third and long situation today.
He didn't come in the last 7 times of the Atlanta game. 3rd and 1 at the 36. Byers. Stop. Short. And he lost a yard. And the Giant defense is aroused as they've held on the first series. Carl Banks and Terry Kennard were the strong men for the Giants. And it's 4th down. And coming in to kick will be John Telschik, who averaged over 50 yards against Atlanta after a 2-game slump. Phil McConkey is the deep man for the Giants. He was reacquired from the Green Bay Packers before last week's game. Nearly broke for 3 touchdowns. 4th down on the 35. Good coverage by the Eagles' Dave Little, a 37-yard punt. So Phil Simms takes over and starts his first series for the Giants. And here's that good Philadelphia defense that Dan Deerdorf was talking about. Up front, Byron Darby, Ken Clark, Reggie White, and Greg Brown, all of them good. Gary Cobb, Mike Reichenbach, and Alonzo Johnson are the linebackers. Roynell Young and Evan Cooper, the corners. Andre Waters and Terry Hogue at safety. 1st and 10 Giants at the 29.
Byron Darby, who plays left defensive end, that time too quick upfield, working against Carl Nelson, the right tackle. He turns him to the outside. Nelson acted like he thought the play was going to break back to the middle. Instead, he turns Darby right into the face of Joe Morris.
2nd and 14, loss of 4. Pass is complete to Bavaro, but Alonzo Johnson from Florida grabbed a hold, and Bavaro got an extra few yards back. Great second effort before Terry Hogue ultimately made the stop. The rest of the offense, and they're going to line up without a huddle. And we'll tell you the rest of the offense after this 3rd and 7. Simms completes it to Stacy Robinson in a 1st down at the 45. Evan Cooper on the tackle, and so the Giants, who were successful 4 out of 5 times without a huddle last year, are doing it again now. 1st and 10 at the 45. A new wrinkle for the Giants today. Joe Morris stumbles to the 46-yard line. The tackle made by Reggie White with help from Andre Waters.
Bill Parcells feels that it takes some time to set up the defense, and that's why they're going with the no huddle.
Maurice Carthen, the other running back, Bobby Johnson and Stacy Robinson are the wide receivers. The offensive line with Mark Bavaro, but now Otis Anderson has come in the game for his first play as a Giant. And a rousing ovation from the crowd on 2nd and 9 at the 47. As a receiver, Anderson makes the catch, and just about gets back to the line of scrimmage where the stop is made by Ken Clark. So here's Otis Anderson, who has gained 1,000 yards every year but the strike season in last year.
And the New York Giants gave the Cardinals a number 2 and a number 7 round draft pick in next year's draft for Otis Anderson. That time, though, Phil Simms didn't do him much of a favor in throwing the ball back behind him. Plus, I think everyone in a white jersey knew he was going to get the football. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
It's 3rd and 10 at the 45. Simms with a design rollout to his left, puts a fake on and completes the pass. Solomon Miller, and another Giant first down, but a penalty marker down. A gain of 12 and a flag.
And we're going to get a late hit on the Eagles.
And shaken up is Miller, who, by the way, injured his shoulder in practice on Thursday. He's a rookie out of Utah State.
Solomon Miller working to the left side of the field.
Foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 21, defense. First down.
Evan Cooper gets called for the late hit, and you're going to see it. Miller clearly out of bounds, and Evan Cooper with the extremely late hit, and Buddy Ryan's been talking for weeks. We can't take dumb penalties. That was a dumb penalty.
Andre Waters was ejected in the Atlanta game for knocking Archer out of bounds, and Byron Darby picked up a 15-yard penalty going after Archer in the same game.
And that time it was Evan Cooper's turn. You just can't take mistakes of that caliber.
1st and 10 Giants on the Eagle 28. McConkey in wide receiver. Otis Anderson tripped up and gets nothing. So we've seen Otis Anderson as a receiver and as a rusher in his Giant debut. Greg Brown and Reggie White in on the play. Keep in mind that Anderson has also missed 9 of his last 21 games with assorted injuries, and his health is an important factor.
That it is. Plus, he's had to undergo a crash course in the Giant offense. Keep in mind, he had to learn a new system under Gene Stallings in St. Louis, different than the one he knew last year. Formations in New York are by numbers. In St. Louis, they were by colors.
2nd and 10. Simms is down, and it's Greg Brown who sets him down at the 30-yard line. 3rd sack of the season for Greg Brown.
Joe Morris, who had gone in motion across the formation, tries to work up the sideline against Alonzo Johnson. Clear out of bounds. There's no way he can come back in and be an eligible receiver. So if Morris was the intended receiver, Phil Simms had no choice but to find someone else or eat the ball.
3rd and 12 at the 30 with 9:09 remaining in the first quarter. No score. Tony Galbraith in motion. Simms going for McConkey and knocked away in a fine play by Roynell Young, former Pro Bowler, and it'll be 4th down.
Roynell Young, the more established and the better of the Eagle cornerbacks. This time a good break onto the football. Boy, did he get his hands on McConkey before the football or not. That was close.
So the Giants will try to get on the board by virtue of a field goal, and Raul Alegre, the 3rd Giant kicker this season, has been perfect, 4 for 4. Will try a 47-yard field goal, and holding will be Jeff Rutledge. Former Colt joined the Giants 2 weeks ago. And Alegre's kick is blocked. And the ball will bounce around inside the 10-yard line, and it'll be down by the Eagles. But they blocked Alegre's kick and his first miss in a Giant uniform.
The penetration, I believe the block will come from the middle rather than the outside. There you see the arm up in the air. Let's see if we can get a number on that. It might have been Reggie White in the middle.
It is Reggie White, I believe. So the Eagles block a kick, and Reggie White, what praise we got from Buddy Ryan on this fellow.
Buddy Ryan feels that Reggie White is the best defensive lineman he ever coached.
Now for the latest on the Reagan-Gorbachev talks in Iceland, let's go to CBS News. This is Dick Stockton along with Dan Deerdorf. No score with 4:29 and running remaining in the first quarter. Since we left you, each team has had the ball and had to punt without gaining a first down. The Eagles have a 3rd and 3 on their own 45 now. And now Ron Jaworski has called a timeout. The Eagles have lost their starting center, Jerry Feary, who went down with an injury on the first play when the Eagles had it on the 30. Following the missed field goal by Raul Alegre that was blocked, he was taken off on a stretcher. Solomon Miller, who was shaken up for the Giants, has been back in action for the Giants. For the 8th, there is Matt Darwin, the 4th-round rookie draft pick out of Texas A&M, who replaces Jerry Feary. And we'll show you how Feary got hurt after this play. 3rd and 3 at the 45 for the Eagles. No score, 4:17 to go first quarter. Jaworski getting a big rush, throws incomplete. And he had to get rid of it in a hurry with the blitz coming in, particularly from Elvis Patterson.
Watch Patterson lined up on the slot. He lets his man go and comes wide open on the blitz. Lawrence Taylor picked up on the inside, and almost every time early in this ball game that Jaworski has gone back to throw, he's ended up on the ground that time, courtesy of Elvis Patterson.
John Telchik will kick from his 30-yard line, and Phil McConkey is back at about the 10 for the Giants. Short kick. McConkey on the run at the 22. He's ridden out of bounds. Gary Cobb made the play, so no score. Teams go back and forth. Let's take a look at how Jerry Feary got hurt for the Eagles, Dan.
Jerry Feary got a game ball last week from Buddy Ryan. That's how well he's playing. Lawrence Taylor comes in from the top of the screen, makes contact right there with Byers, and they'll go right down onto the right leg of Jerry Feary, and he was removed on a stretcher. We'll get a report as soon as we get one from the Eagle locker room. But Matt Darwin, absolutely no playing time in now at center for the Eagles.
At the 28, 1st and 10. Carson and Morris. Morris tackled by Greg Brown from behind. And so far, Dan, the Giants are not making any kind of headway on the ground, or for that matter, through the air.
And that goes for the Eagle offense as well. This game early on dominated totally by defense, and Bill Parcells has been complaining loudly about his offense, which has done absolutely nothing. Last week in a game against St. Louis, they were pitiful. And Buddy Ryan, his offense has been coming to life, but nothing so far today.
2nd down and 8. Sims looking one way and hitting Stacy Robinson the other way. First down at the 45-yard line, a gain of 15. Waters on the stop. Good play by Robinson.
Stacy Robinson split wide to the left. Nothing very fancy here, just a quick sideline pattern. But that throw by Sims was absolutely perfect. That's a difficult throw for the quarterback to get it about 15 yards downfield, keep it up in the receiver's eyes, and that time Phil Sims threw it perfectly.
And Robinson has the burden of producing and having to do it with Lionel Manuel still out with a sprained knee and perhaps the next 4 weeks. 1st and 10 at the 45. Sims looking off the defense, and another completion. Mark Bavaro may have a first down. Again with second effort. Johnson and Reichenbach on the stop. It's another first down for the Giants.
One thing that made this play happen was play action the other way. Sims looked off everyone. Look how he even got Andre Waters going that way. Then to Bavaro, and he fights for an extra 4 yards. There is not a tight end right now in the game of football that is harder to bring to the ground than Mark Bavaro.
Only caught 2 passes last week because of double teaming by the Cardinals. Once again, the Giants are in Philadelphia territory. Sims. If he held on, a great catch by McConkey and a penalty marker down, and apparently he did. Roynell Young was all over him. It would be a gain of 11. And our first conference of the day.
Phil McConkey just back from Green Bay. On the crossing pattern, makes the catch, but it looks like it's coming back.
Grabbing using the face mask, number 43, on the defense, on the incompleted pass, and it's still first down.
It was an incompleted pass, but the penalty marked off anyway against the Eagles.
Let's see if we can see the ball coming out. McConkey on the crossing pattern. Boy, he had the football. It appeared that he had possession of the ball. We could see it come out late, but the face mask by Roynell Young was obvious.
It'll be 1st and 5 for the Giants at the 39.
It really looked like he had possession of the football from that angle, didn't it?
Of course, then you just saw his back, and who knows what happened with his body screening. 2:41 remaining, first quarter. No score. Joe Morris gets a hole off left tackle, but closing it in a hurry is Mike Reichenbach, who does Mike Singletary's job as middle linebacker in the 46 defense for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And so much is said about the 46. What you do, your 3 linemen in the middle cover off the middle 3 of the New York Giants. Alonzo Johnson comes all the way over from his other linebacking spot. Cobb is here, Reichenbach is here. Your 3 linebackers are right here. Your defensive lineman has to take contain. That's the 46 defense.
It'll be 2nd and 6 at the 40 with 2:01 remaining in the quarter. Morris trying to cut inside, and once again the Giants can't do anything on the ground. Greg Brown making the tackle, and it'll be 3rd and about 4 now for the Giants.
The defensive end, this is the spot that Richard Dent has made famous. His job is to get upfield and then fall back in on the play if he can. That is Greg Brown. See how he moves upfield, comes back in, he has the cutback, he makes the play on Joe Morris.
3rd and a long 3. High snap. Sims. Solomon Miller, and was out of bounds, according to the official. Miller doesn't like the call. Roynell Young was defending on the play.
Well, we see one way the Giants are going to try to beat the 46. That's with Sims rolling out. Miller with the move back to the inside. Oh, boy, did he spin Young around. Is he in? No, he is not. Excellent call that time by the official.
It's 4th down. Landeta coming in, but Jeff Hostetler is also in. What did Bill Parcells tell us if Hostetler's in on punt formation?
He said if Hostetler comes in, look for us to run an offensive play because we'll have a full offensive complement on the field. Now we're going to have to see if the Eagles pick it up that Hostetler's in the game.
Landeta is in presumably to punt on 4th and 3 at the 37. And the Giants went back into their huddle. No timeout was called yet.
Oh, they had a replay. They took a look at it on the replay and ruled that he was out of bounds. But the Giants may run an offensive play here.
Let's watch Hostetler. He's the man playing what you would call shotgun.
Here they go.
And Evan Cooper, who is in punt formation as a safety, starts coming up in the play. 4th and 3. Landeta goes to the sideline as a wide receiver candidate.
They took too much time.
And the clock runs down. And so the idea of that was to run a play, but run it in a hurry. And the Giants couldn't do it. It's 4th down. So goes that bit of gimmickry today.
Well, the other way to look at that is maybe they did it on purpose. Seeing they were under 5 yards and going for the first down, maybe they were trying to draw the Eagles off sides and pick up a first down.
Landeta will be in the punt. Evan Cooper is back for the Eagles. Fair catch called for by Cooper, and the ball goes into the end zone for a touchback. No score here following the 42-yard punt by Sean Landeta, who leads the NFL in punting. We'll be back to Giant Stadium. Dan, how do you figure that that busted play, so to speak, on 4th down?
Well, it was a highly choreographed maneuver by Parcells to begin with. I mean, he wanted to have his quarterback, Hostetler, in there because the advantage is the Eagles don't have a defensive team on the field. They've got their punt return unit in there. They're not equipped or qualified to cover receivers, etc.
1st and 10 on the 20 for the Eagles. They've had 3 possessions, all 3 plays, and then punt so far. Jaworski flips it out to Haddix, who drops the ball. Let's check some scores. Many of them finals are getting close to that. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 20-yard line. 1:06 remaining in the 1st quarter, no score, and I think most people figured that the Eagles, with their improved defense, would give the Giants a tough fight. At least they have to do.
Well, most people picked this as a low-scoring game today, and certainly it's been no scoring so far. Nobody's even close.
Jaworski has time over the head of Mike Quick. Terry Kennard covering on the play. Quick is one of those big play people who can break open a game. He was the intended receiver.
The New York Giants are trying their best to find Lawrence Taylor a free spot from which to it. Lawrence Taylor is right here. He's lined up right next to Carl Banks, another linebacker. We'll see Banks drop. We'll see Taylor go, and watch how effectively he's blocked by Michael Haddix. Haddix is going to put Lawrence Taylor on the ground. Jaworski appreciated it, but he overthrew the pass.
And Randall Cunningham is in at quarterback on 3rd and 10 at the 20. Cunningham in on 3rd and long for Jaworski. Completes to Totalatazi, and Totalatazi nowhere near decent yardage. Covered by Perry Williams on the play, so the rookie made the catch. It'll be 4th down. Cunningham in there.
Cunningham, instead of the shotgun, comes up and takes it from under center. A quick pass. He didn't have much choice, and Totalatazi right in the face of Perry Williams. That one had no chance at all of getting the 1st down. Why did Randall Cunningham have to deliver the ball so hard? Because Lawrence Taylor beat his man and drops him like a shot.
Telchik inside his 10 will kick it away. McConkey hoping to give the Giants good field position, and the kick nearly blocked, and a marker is down. McConkey at the 35 gets to the 39-yard line, but a flag is down. Maybe a roughing the kicker penalty.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It will be roughing the kicker against Pepper Johnson. Boy, he was wide open up the middle. He just made the mistake of missing the football.
Pepper Johnson is a rookie taken in the 2nd round out of Ohio State. Inside linebacker. Here's Jerry Markbright.
Personal foul. Running into the kicker. Number 52, defense. Automatic 1st down.
If you're going to come in this clean, you have got to hit the football. Johnson just misjudged where the ball was going to come off of Telchik's foot. And instead of getting the ball, he got all kicker.
He complained this week of not getting in there, and Harry Reason said he had the no-down blues?
Yeah, Gary Reason told Johnson, hey, don't feel bad about it. There's not a college defensive player in the country who could come in and start for this defensive team.
1st and 10 at the 26, and the first down of the game for the Eagles. Came on a penalty. Jaworski, penalty flag is down, incomplete. And he got rid of it. Lawrence Taylor must have been held because he was storming in.
He was held by Keith Byers, who did everything but tackle Lawrence Taylor. I'm sure Byers will get the call. Most teams try to get a lineman to block on Lawrence Taylor. This time it was the rookie, Keith Byers, and watch his left arm.
Number 42, offense. 1st down.
You just can't wrap your arm around a guy's waist, and Lawrence Taylor says, I want to see a flag. He got one.
That's known in the business as a mismatch. So it's 1st and 20 back at the 16-yard line, and already we've had 7 penalties.
Nothing against Keith Byers. I just don't believe there's a back in this game that consistently could keep Lawrence Taylor from getting to the quarterback.
Final seconds of the 1st quarter. And it's Michael Haddix, and that will do it for the first 15 minutes. Haddix is stopped at the 19-yard line. Carl Banks on the tackle, and that is the end of the first quarter here at Giant Stadium. The lights are on. It is overcast and no score between the Eagles and the Giants. One of the funniest sights at Giant practice yesterday, two grown men, my partner Dan Deerdorf and Carl Banks, yelling their fight songs at each other. Michigan for Mr. Deerdorf, Banks yelling the Michigan State fight song. You guys are still kids, you know.
One of us is only singing our fight song today, and that's me. By the way, next week, what, Michigan and Iowa? Right.
Had a great game last year between those two teams. 2nd and 17 at the 19 as we start the second quarter at Giant Stadium. Jaworski going for Quick, out of bounds, double covered. That's the man they know they can go to, perhaps to get a quick 6 points, so to speak. He is a dangerous big play receiver, and the Giants simply don't have anyone like him.
No, they don't. If there's one big difference between these two clubs, it would be at the wide receiver position. The Eagles having people like Mike Quick, Kenny Jackson, Ron Johnson. They've got some qualified big play people with Lionel Manuel on injured reserve. The Giants don't have the quick strike potential that the Eagles do.
Randall Cunningham is back in the game. On 3rd and 17. Tough spot for anyone to be in. And you see why. That was Leonard Marshall. Marshall sacked the Eagle quarterback 6 times last year. He likes playing this game.
Two things here are interesting. This is Leonard Marshall, who's going to have the upfield rush, but watch the middle. Watch Lawrence Taylor sit in the middle as a spy because he's watching Cunningham to see if he comes out. See Taylor just hover right there, but Leonard Marshall beats Gillespie, gets in, and gets the sack.
So now Telchik punting from the dangerous end zone area, and Phil McConkey is at the Giant 45. And it takes a Giant bounce. And it was down by an Eagle at the 35-yard line. The Giants can't ask for better field position than this. 25-yard kick by Telchik.
And the best field position of the day for either one of these teams. Good defensive play, forced the punt from the end zone, and now the Giants will start actually even inside the 35 a little bit, almost to the 34. They're going to look for points in this situation.
And the Eagles have managed right now only 8 yards in total offense. First down and a pass complete to Bavaro at the 30-yard line. Reichenbach was right there. And looks like Bavaro got stunned.
He's limping off the field.
He's already caught more passes today than he did all of last week against the Cardinals, and Zeke Moat will go in and replace him.
And if you're going to lose a player like Mark Bavaro, we certainly hope he's okay. The Giants certainly do not have a drop-off talent-wise. Zeke Moat, the starter here for years before he went down last year with a knee injury. Mark Bavaro certainly in a great deal of pain on the Giants sideline.
2nd and 6 at the 30. Morris will score. Giant rushing touchdowns this year, and this was his longest one. Allegre with Rutledge holding to try to add the conversion with 13:28 remaining in the first half. Early here in the second quarter, the Giants lead at 7-0.
Let's take a look at Joe Morris. The key block is going to be by the right guard, Chris Godfrey, who's going to take out Gary Cobb, the linebacker. We'll see Maurice Carthen come in with a good lead block. The rest is all Joe Morris. The kick out by Godfrey, the lead block by Carthen. And when you give a back of that caliber, that big a hole, it's 6 points.
Otis Anderson may be on the scene, but Joe Morris is still running for the Giants.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Bartles & James Premium Wine Cooler. Thank you for your support. Harris Corporation and their business products divisions, Lanier, we're easy to use. And by Oldsmobile Quality, feel it at your nearest Oldsmobile dealer.
And Deerdorf back at Giant Stadium. I gave you a few extra syllables, didn't I, on that one?
I'll spell it for you next break.
Raul Alegre kicking off. And it's Charles Crawford at the 4-yard line. Bringing it out for the Eagles. Is he ever strong? Crawford brings it out to the 37. Terry Williams hanging on for dear life. A return of 34 yards by Crawford.
It's always the little things that make a big play possible. At the bottom of your screen is Terry Hogue. He goes up towards the line. He then loses the angle to make the tackle. Downfield, lower left, right there. Phil McConkey screens off Roynell Young. Those two things made that touchdown run by Joe Morris possible once he was past the line of scrimmage.
And the short punt, 25 yards, gave them good field position. First and 10 Eagles on their 38. Gets it to Spagnola at the 40, and that's all. Just a 2-yard gain. And over at the Giants sideline, Mark Bavaro is being tended to. He came into the game tied for the NFC lead in reception with 3 others.
I don't want to speculate what it is they're working on. They're going to cut the tape off of his right ankle, but it could be anything in the lower leg, toe, ankle, whatever. So we can only hope that he'll be back. Meanwhile, Zeke Moat will be playing tight end ineffectively for the Giants.
Eric Dorsey is playing nose tackle, the rookie top-round draft pick from Notre Dame. Second and 7. Going deep for Mike Quick. He juggled it. Elvis Patterson was defending, and an incompleted pass.
The ending of the play, Mike Quick. This is a fine throw by Ron Jaworski. As Quick, a couple of yards past Patterson. And he isn't able to cleanly field the ball, and Patterson finishes him off before he gets a second shot at it, which he might have. He might have pulled that in if Elvis wasn't able to make the recovery. But a good throw that time by Ron Jaworski.
And Randall Cunningham, who's had nothing but misery in the couple of plays he's been in, they're now at 3rd and 7. Down shy of midfield by Mike Quick. That's why he's all pro. He had an acrobatic touchdown reception against Atlanta last week.
What a catch by Mike Quick. Let's look at this from behind the play. It's only a 4-man rush by the Giants. Great pass protection by the Eagles. Watch Quick leave his feet and snare the football. No, there aren't many guys playing the game right now capable of making a catch like that.
First down other than by penalty for the Eagles. They're at their own 49. Play action. And a catch by Kenny Jackson out of bounds inside the 45. Defended by Terry Kennard.
It's an obvious sign of the Eagle respect for the Giant pass rush that we're seeing roll out, and so much play action by Jaworski and the Eagles. A blitz was going to come in from the right side that time. I'm not sure if Jaworski audible to the play or not, but he makes a rollout to the right, goes ahead and makes the completion to Kenny Jackson.
Bobby Grich with the 2-run homer for the Angels. 2nd and 3 at the 44. Draw play to Haddix. And a penalty marker down on the far side of the field. Jerry Feary with the knee injury to the right knee. Here's Mark Ray.
We have a false start. Number 66, False start. Offense. Second down.
That's the left guard, Ken Reeves. So Feary went out with a knee injury, and Bavaro suffered a sprained ankle. It'll be second down and 8 at the 49. Who's had big games against the Eagles in the past.
Lawrence Taylor normally plays the right linebacker. This time, he's switched positions. He's here at the bottom. We'll see an upfield pass rush by the defensive end. Taylor loops back to the inside, and even though he's blocked, still gets in and makes the play. The stutter step upfield, back to the inside, and even though he's picked up right there by Ron Baker, he still gets a sack.
And a loss of 7 on the play. Third down and 15. Eagles on the 44. Randall Cunningham again in there. And Cunningham, who can run, is close to a first down. And that's what the Eagles wanted to do. Opposing defenses would rather he would pass. Taylor made the tackle, and he may be a yard short. Let's see where they spot the ball. He is a yard short.
That was masterful defensive work by the New York Giants. They came with the blitz, were effective, dropped the quarterback. That time, they only rushed 3 defensive linemen, dropped 8 people off into coverage, confused Cunningham. He really had no choice but to pull down the football and run.
It's fourth down, and Telchik will punt for the Eagles. He was a rookie, 9th-round pick by the Bears, claimed by the Eagles, and McConkey goes back. 7-0, the Giants lead. Fair catch by the Giants. McConkey at the 17, and a penalty marker has been thrown at the 40-yard line. So a flag on the play with 9:49 remaining.
And the Eagles left early. One of their guys was 5 yards downfield before the ball was punted. Andy Hedden says, turn it down.
Giants had the ball on the 17.
Illegal receiver downfield, number 54 and number 59. Penalty declined. First down. Timeout.
Alonzo Johnson and Seth Joyner, the guilty parties. Mark Bavaro with the sprained ankle could return in this game. First and 10 Giants on the 17. Morris dives for maybe 1. Reggie White and Ken Clark, the 2 Eagle tackles.
Looked like they were taping the big toe on the right foot of Mark Bavaro. No huddle offense here by the Giants.
Second and 7. Morris. And it was Reichenbach who finally caught up with him at the 23-yard line. Once again, the Giants appear to be lining up without a huddle. Sims to Morris out of the backfield, and he's stopped in his tracks by Alonzo Johnson. It'll be good enough for a first down for the Giants with under 9 minutes remaining, 8:55, and here again the hurry-up offense.
I guess they don't want me to say anything.
I was just thinking that. Morris again. Is tripped up and gets to the 31-yard line, and it was Reggie White. Quick, say something, Dan.
I know one thing, as an offensive player, you're never really fond of a no-huddle offense. It's tough to get into the rhythm of the game, and it's also tough to catch your breath.
Especially the latter. Second and 8 at the 31. Sims is going to be trapped by Reggie White, who's put on pressure on opposing quarterbacks all season for Buddy Ryan.
And that normally ends the no-huddle offense. A setback like that will send you back to the huddle. We were told by some of the Eagle players that they thought that Phil Simms would have a tendency to bring that ball down, and when they were going to get in on him, they were going to try to strip the football away. Gary Cobb talking about how he would like to get a shot at that football because they feel that Simms will cough it up if he's hit in the backfield.
A loss of 8 yards on the play. 3rd and 16, back on the 23. An audible was called, and then Simms doesn't like what he sees. And a delay of the game penalty results against the Giants. So it'll be 3rd down and 21.
It might be unfair to lay this at the doorstep of the no huddle offense, but you run 3 or 4 plays without a huddle, then all of a sudden you're back in the huddle, then you're at the line of scrimmage, you're audibling. A lot of things can go wrong.
The timing is rocky. And a whistle, no play, and a flag is down. Now what? Not a lot of penalties in this game.
False start. Offense.
10 penalties, 6 against the
Number
Giants.
61.
And that
Number
one was
73.
against Chris Godfrey.
Such is the life of an offensive lineman. You get credit on a touchdown run. You get called for a false start. Quick trip from the penthouse.
Going in reverse to 3rd and 26 on the 13. Simms open as Galbraith out of the backfield. And he'll be brought down at the 19 by Brenard Wilson. And it'll be 4th down, and the Giants sure didn't look sharp on that offensive sequence, and Landeta will come in to kick.
This is a defensive football team for the Eagles that is really starting to impress me. Their flow to the football, and we're going to get a fast punt here by the Giants. They were wasting little time.
Evan Cooper goes back for Philadelphia. Landeta kicking at the 8-yard line. Good kick by Landeta. Cooper at the 31. And Cooper is off into Giant territory to the 30. Evan Cooper inside the 15 is brought down by Byron Hunt, and the Eagles, by virtue of a 59-yard punt return by Evan Cooper, are threatening to tie this game. 1st and 10 outside the Giant 10-yard line.
A double team at the bottom of the screen on Mark Collins. There's containment that's broken, and Evan Cooper with the hurdle is off to the races. But what an effort by Byron Hunt. Look at Byron Hunt chase Cooper and catch him from behind. A sensational effort by both Cooper and Hunt. And this is fine field position for the Eagles. The best of the game, and yeah, they're fired up.
1st and 10, Eagles. Evan Cooper out of the University of Michigan, of all places. Fires, spins his way inside the 5. And fine acceleration by the rookie, Carl Banks, and Terry Kennard finally held him up. Ball is at the 5-yard line. 6:20 remaining in the first half. The Giants lead 7-0 by virtue of a Joe Morris 30-yard touchdown run.
Safe to say the best first down play of the game for the Eagles, picking up 5 yards. They've been losing yardage on first down.
Jaworski, sack, Taylor. Sack of the game.
You can run, but you can't hide. Lawrence Taylor from behind. Ron Jaworski never had a prayer.
And the second sack for Lawrence Taylor, who has 5.5 this year and leads the team. 3rd and 12, back at the 12. Jaworski stays in for this one. And And his pass is incomplete. They were going for Ron Johnson. And he was out of the end zone. Mark Collins defending.
Johnson was open on the play. He's working to Ron Jaworski's right side. When he throws the ball, Johnson is clearly in the open. Did he get him in? One? Nope. Good call by the officials. Clearly beyond the end zone. Do you have it, Ron? Do you have it? No, Ron, he was out of bounds.
Paul McFadden will attempt a 29-yard field goal, barefooted, and the kick is good, and the Eagles on a 29-yard field goal are on the scoreboard, but they had a 1st and 10 at the 10 on Cooper's run back. It's 7-3 Giants. Paul McFadden now 7 out of 8 on the year in the field goal department. Will be kicking to Phil McConkey and to Mark Collins. 7-3 the score, and a swift pick. And Lasker of the Giants picks it up at the 41.
And the Eagles had the ball all the way, and they weren't able to control the football. A perfectly executed onside kick by McFadden. The ball's going to come up after the hop right up into the arms of one of the Eagle ball players. Let's see who had it, and they can't control it. 2 or 3 of them had a shot at the football, and Lasker comes up with it for the Giants.
Seth Joyner might have had the first shot. Charles Crawford might have had the last shot for the Eagles. 1st and 10 Giants on their own 41-yard line. 5 minutes, 12 seconds remain in the first half. Design rollout by Sims. Caught by Stacy Robinson, and a first down out of bounds in Eagle territory. Roydell Young covering. 13-yard gain.
The biggest defensive play of the football game, executed by Lawrence Taylor down on the goal line. Keith Byers, the far back in this formation, learns a valuable lesson. Don't go to the ground. Lawrence Taylor hurdles blockers better than any linebacker in the game, as Ron Jaworski found out on that play.
At the 46, 1st and 10. And Morris is stopped for a loss by Reggie White. And a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
Otis Anderson hasn't seen much action for the Giants since he got into the ball game very early in the first quarter and was ineffective in running the ball, and that's certainly to be expected in this type of a situation. As he just checks in right now, Anderson into the game. He'll be in the fullback slot. Joe Morris remains in the lineup.
He has not been a fullback, though.
Never, ever. Always has been either the I-back or the main running back.
2nd and 11. And Morris just started his pattern before the ball was snapped. The pass is caught by Zeke Moa, but they'll bring it all back.
That's the second time today that we've seen someone in the wide receiver position start downfield for the New York Giants. Solomon Miller did it earlier in the ballgame. That time Joe Morris 6 or 7 yards downfield at the snap of the ball.
Illegal motion, number 20, offense, 2nd down.
Good play if you can fool him.
Illegal head start as well. No terminology for that, but it negates a nice New York gain. Now they're in a 2nd and long situation rather than a 1st down in Philadelphia territory.
7 penalties against the Giants. Maurice Carthon replaces Otis Anderson. Sims overthrows Morris. He was open, didn't get a good ball to him, and now Stacy Robinson is shaken up, and if the Giants are thin anywhere on offense, it has to be at wide receiver.
Well, I think one of the things they tried to do as we watch Robinson limp off was getting Joe Morris the last time out into a wide receiver position. Let's see if we can find out where Stacy Robinson is. Right there. It looked like he pulled a muscle while he was running. Well, that's not a good sign for a wide receiver, and he can't even get off the field. He's still on the field to play, being attended to by the Giant trainers.
So Bill Parcells, who saw his running back core strengthened with Otis Anderson's addition, doesn't have Lionel Manuel and is going with 4 wide receivers and now maybe 3.
And what did he tell us? All my injuries have been to my offensive skilled people. He said, I haven't lost an offensive lineman all year. I haven't had any problem defensively, but my problems have been skill-wise offensively.
Well, next Saturday, it's the battle for Big Ten supremacy. Michigan, undefeated, led by quarterback Jim Harbaugh, hosts Iowa, also 5-0. They had quite a game last year.
Well, it was a battle between number 1 and number 2, and Rob Houtland got the kick, the winning field goal. No time left on the clock to win it for Iowa. This year, Iowa and Michigan. Another good matchup, live, 2:30 Eastern. I'm not going to say anything. I'm being totally impartial when I do these promos.
Bavaro shaken up with a sprained ankle. You know, the Wolverines are doing awfully well, and we see them a lot on CBS. 3rd and 16 at the 48-yard line. And they dump it out to Moat, the tight end, who will be shy of a first down by 3 yards. Elbert Fowles and Gary Cobb make the stop. Gain of 13. They needed 16. And Landetta will come in. But so is Hostetler in there for the Giants. So let's see. And they work on Stacy Robinson.
And the Eagles are leaving their defensive team on the field. Now they've got mass confusion. And Eagles took a timeout.
It was Grand Central Station personified with 22 Eagles running on and off the field, and they have called their first timeout of this first half.
Well, as we talked about before, they're at a decided disadvantage because they don't have their regular defensive team on the field. The Eagles realized that Hostetler was coming into the ball game. They tried to get their regular defense back out on the field, then became confused. And what happened is everybody ran off. They only had about 4 guys out there.
Let me correct something. The Eagles now have only 1 timeout remaining. The Giants have all of theirs.
Look at the confusion as we see the the defensive teams for the Eagles, some going, some coming. How many are left out there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it never works that way.
Eagles with 1 timeout remaining. This has been kind of a strange game, though it be low scoring. We've seen a lot of unusual things.
Well, that we have, but the one thing we've seen is a lot of hard hitting, and these are 2 very physical ball clubs, and I think I'm impressed with the Eagles. I think Buddy Ryan has got this team beginning to believe they're pretty good.
Well, he says we thought we'd be ready when division play started in earnest, and it is this week. Next week it continues for the Eagles as they go against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys beat the Redskins 30-6, and next week it'll be the Cowboys and the Eagles in Philadelphia. We'll be there. It all begins with the NFL today. Check your local listings. 4th down, and Sean Landetta will be kicking. Evan Cooper returned the punt 59 yards the last time. Catches this one on the 10. 3:17 remaining in the first half. The Giants lead. With Stacy Robinson being taken off the field, the Giants are left with 3 wide receivers, Bobby Johnson, Solomon Miller, and Phil McConkey. Miller is a rookie as the Eagles start with their worst field position, starting a drive in the game, and this is what they've done.
They haven't done much with any field position. Too many times, 3 plays and out. The best they've been able to muster is 6 and out, and of course they had the field goal, but that's because they had the ball at the 10-yard line.
Complete. He was going for Mike Quick. Pass behind him. Perry Williams was closest. Jaworski is 3 for 11 for only 17 yards. So normally he gets his yardage through the air, not on the ground, but today he's not even getting it that way.
Well, there are a lot of different ways to put pressure on a quarterback, and Buddy Ryan and his 46 defense, they advocate bringing 8 people at one time. The Giants do it without bringing so many people, but they mix up who's coming, and they're extremely effective doing so.
2nd and 10 at the 10. Jaworski down, lost the ball, but the whistle is blown. At the 2-yard line.
The last couple of times the Giants have put Carl Banks and drop them into coverage. This time they both come and they both get to the quarterback. They started this last week in their game against St. Louis. Banks has picked up to the inside. Taylor trips, but still gets there. Folds up Jaworski's leg. Boy, that's impossible to block. He can't get them both.
Taylor in on his third sack of the game. 3rd and 18 at the 2. Cunningham comes in. And going deep for Kenny Jackson, who makes the catch. Kenny Jackson makes the catch at the 37, and the penalty marker is down at the 5. 61 yards, and they may bring it all back. Ineligible receiver downfield. Listen to him.
I'm sure that the other members of the Eagle offensive team thought that Randall Cunningham was going to run with the football.
Ineligible pass receiver. Downfield, number 63. Offense, still 3rd down.
It was the right guard, Ron Baker. It looked like Cunningham might have been running, but Baker took off anyway.
And that is hard to fault an offensive lineman for making that mistake. Everyone in the stadium, including myself, thought that Randall Cunningham was going to run with the football. You're going to do whatever you can do to get out in front of him, help him try to make a block. That's a difficult situation. But what a play by Randall Cunningham and Kenny Jackson. He's got an arm, doesn't he? Oh.
Half the distance, 3rd down and 19 at the 1. Cunningham, overthrow, incomplete. He was going for Ron Johnson, and it's 4th down.
How would you like to be Randall Cunningham in your own end zone? Looking at this, pressure from the left. That's Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall. He never even saw where that football went after he released it.
And Telchik will go back as far as he can to kick to Phil McConkey. And the Giants are looking at possession in Eagle territory. Not much margin for John Telchik. Good kick. McConkey at the 45. Inside the 35. 44-yard punt. McConkey gives the Giants good field position, but another flag has been thrown. And now they have to separate some of the athletes.
This flag came down after the play was over as a confrontation occurred between several Eagles and a couple of the Giants, and by the reaction of the Giants squad, Andy Hedden, you can see him giving his opinion of who this is going to work against.
2:21 remaining in the first half, and the Giants have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Jerry Markbright will sort it out for us.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 37, Philadelphia. After the play was over, 1st down, Giants.
Junior Totalatazi, and after the play is over, means they will mark it off inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
Eagle mistakes are beginning to haunt this squad.
They made a few, but escaped against Atlanta last week. And now it's 1st and 10, Giants on the Philadelphia 18. And Jeff Hostetler is in the game as a wide receiver. Joe Morris carries and is hit. He had one man to beat to get into pay dirt again, and is tackled at the 11-yard line by Terry Hogue.
An indication as to how desperate the New York Giants are for wide receivers. Jeff Hostetler was split all the way to the wide side of the field to the bottom as a wide receiver. Look at him. He enjoyed it.
2-minute warning here. The Giants lead the Eagles 7-3, and they're threatening to score some more. We've had our 2-minute warning, and the Giants, leading the Eagles 7-3, will have a 2nd down and 3 on the Philadelphia 11 as you look at the timeout story. Miller and Bobby Johnson are split to the right. Morris cutting inside. And may have the first down. Greg Brown defending on the play. Morris did not have one of his better days last week, only 53 yards. But he has scored a touchdown and has given the Giants 1st and goal here. McConkey checks back in the game.
And even though we're inside 2 minutes, as an offensive team, take your time. You still got 3 timeouts. There's no hurry. You've got all the time in the world to score.
Ball is at the 7. They give it to Joe Morris with Carson blocking, and he's brought down inside the 5 by Gary Cobb. 2nd and goal. And the Giants call the first timeout. They have 2 remaining. Bill Parcells, who is trying to get his Giant offense underway in this game. The defense has been nothing short of magnificent. They have not yielded a touchdown since the first quarter of the game here against New Orleans 2 weeks ago. And so they've gone nearly 9 periods since without allowing a touchdown.
They limited the Cardinals in their game last week to just a pair of field goals. And now with 2 timeouts remaining here, still plenty of opportunity and plenty of time to run anything in their offense that they would like to put in. They can still run the ball. They're not in a passing situation. The last play that they just ran was the same play that Joe Morris broke for a touchdown just a short time ago, and even that time right there, they picked up 3 or 4 yards. We may see them come right back with that same play. Bill Parcells, an advocate of once you've got something, if it's working, keep going with it.
It'll be 2nd down and 4, and Buddy Ryan just talked with Mike Reichenbach, his anchor on defense, the middle linebacker, and he's back in there. Here's 2nd and 4 at the 4. Second and goal. Sims looking, throwing, incomplete. He had McConkey, and the ball bounced off of McConkey's chest. Roynell Young was with him.
And Sims, obviously discouraged. A perfect throw right into the hands of McConkey, and he just can't handle it. Phil still, I guess, maybe a little rusty, having just gotten to the Giants from the Packers. Phil thought he had a touchdown. Oh, my gosh, what do I have to do?
McConkey goes out, and Solomon Miller comes back in with the play. It'll be 3rd and goal now. Right there. And the Giants will use their 2nd timeout, and a wise time and place to use it. 1:04 remaining, and a good time to talk things over. And we'll take a break as well. The Giants have called their 2nd timeout. They have 1 left. There's our story as the Giants try to push over another score. Hopefully for them a touchdown before this half is over. The Eagles would gladly settle for 3, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they certainly would. They'd like to put the Giants in that situation. It's a run-pass question now, a conversation between Parcells and Sims. There's plenty of time to run the football if they choose to do so. But then again, running it, that's a long 5 yards to the end zone against an Eagle team that's been playing the run very well.
Giants had the first chance to score in this game. Raul Alegre had his field goal blocked. Joe Morris with a 30-yard touchdown run after a short 25-yard punt. Giants had good field position, and then Paul McFadden with a 29-yard field goal to account for the 3 Eagles points following a brilliant punt return by Evan Cooper, 59 yards. But now the Eagle defense is up against it, and the Giants have 3rd and goal at the 4.
And the Giants somewhat handicapped in that they can't go to 2 tight ends with Bavaro out of the lineup.
Here's the ground level view of it. Sims as Phil Simms scores a touchdown rushing, and the first Giant other than Joe Morris to score a touchdown on the ground this year. And Raul Alegre with Rutledge holding. Adds the 14th point, but there's a penalty marker thrown. So let's wait a minute. Four officials discussing this one.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't think I'll venture one.
No, me neither.
False start on the offensive team. Will re-kick.
And that's what they'll do. And it's been 6 years since Phil Simms has scored a touchdown. He has been an ideal pocket passer.
Well, he understands his role. He also understands that he's had injury problems in his career. Why run the risk of taking a good shot by running and being someplace where you're not supposed to be?
This amounts to a 24-yard kick for Alegre. And it is 14-3 in favor of the Giants with 59 seconds remaining in the first half.
You can't lose containment, and you must respect your alleys if you're rushing the quarterback. These guys have got to work upfield. We've got to have containment. The key block right here is going to take place. Reggie White is going to be put on the ground by Billy Ard. That's going to open the alley. Ard working against White, gets a good shove off, in for the cut. Easy to see why Phil Simms decided to run into the end zone. Good play.
5 plays, 18 yards. In a minute 22, the Giants have had 2 short drives. The other one was just 2 plays in 34 yards. But that's what field position has done for the Giants today. They lead 14-3. And let's see what the Eagles do with just under a minute to go, as Alegre will be kicking. And deep for Philadelphia, Totalatazi on the left and Crawford on the right. There's Junior, the rookie from Washington State. Crawford at the 1. Penalty marker down. And Crawford is ridden out of bounds by Perry Williams. Andy Hedden also in on the play, but there's a marker down. Rich Kranak of the Eagles, if I can read lips, was guilty of an illegal block.
Illegal block. Number 52 on the run back. First down.
So the Eagles will be set back on the penalty by Kranak. And while we have a moment, next week, CBS doubleheader next Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys play the Eagles in Philadelphia in an NFC East battle. You'll see that game in New York and Philadelphia. The second half of our doubleheader, just seen in the New York area, will be the New York Giants against the Seattle Seahawks, and that should be quite a bad matchup.
An excellent matchup. Of course, that game will be in the Kingdome, one of the noisiest places to play in the whole National Football League.
First and 10 at the 9-yard line. Eagles have 1 timeout remaining. And Michael Haddix brings it out just past the 10. George Martin and Lawrence Taylor on the stop. And Matt Cavanaugh is in at quarterback now for the Eagles. Matt Cavanaugh. So now the Eagles have used all 3 of their quarterbacks today. Jaworski started, Cunningham on 3rd and long, and now Cavanaugh, the former 49er and Patriot. 2nd and 7. Byers stumbles forward for a first down. Taylor making the tackle. Taylor with 3 sacks in the first half. The Giants have 4, and the seconds will tick off. That is the end of the first half here at Giants Stadium. The Giants lead the Eagles 14-3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the full line of new cars and trucks from Mitsubishi. IBM and its wide range of computers and software. And by Ramada, where business travelers always get the all-star treatment.
The Giants lead it 14-3. Take a look at the halftime. 14-3. Take a look at the halftime statistics. The Eagles have not mustered much. The Giants pretty decent, but in all fairness, Dan, the Giants have scored by virtue of two outstanding field position situations.
Yeah, they've only had to go 34 and 18 yards for their two touchdowns, both of them a result of Philadelphia punts out of their own end zone. The 18-yard scoring drive, you tacked on a 15-yard personal foul call against Tatalatase, so that's making it awful easy. I think overall, Philadelphia defensively has played very well.
Anxious to see whether Kavanaugh stays in at quarterback or whether he was just giving Jaworski a rest.
Yeah, it is going to be something to watch for, because remember, Jaworski's last play in a quarterback was when he got sacked by Lawrence Taylor, and we could see his leg had caved in a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see if Ron Jaworski's healthy.
All right, the Giants will have the ball in the second half kickoff, and CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. The heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. And by Xerox Corporation, whose people and products help bring out the genius in you.
Paul McFadden will start the second half by kicking off to the Giants. Phil McConkey and Mark Collins are back for New York. Headed Collins' way at the 7. Collins is brought down just shy of the 20 by Charles Crawford. In that American League Championship Series, Game 5, Dave Henderson hit a 2-run homer off of Donnie Moore in the 9th inning to give the Red Sox a 6-5 lead, and the Angels are batting in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Red Sox trying to stay alive in that best-of-7 series.
Both of these series have seen some 9th inning heroics, haven't they? What drama.
Yesterday, probably the best dramatic playoff days ever. First and 10 at the 20. Sims hands off to Morris. Morris carries it out close to the 25-yard line. Waters and Cobb on the stop. Joe Morris has gained 100 yards, as you see what he's done so far. Only once this year, that against the Raiders. He managed 100 yards in 6 games last year, but he did not go over the century mark until mid-season a year ago. He was much stronger in the second half of '85. Gets the call again. Terry Hogue was pursuing from behind, coming up from free safety, and the stop was made at the 25 by Cooper and Alonzo Johnson. No gain on the play.
One of the things that the Eagles didn't have last year in the estimation of Buddy Ryan was team defensive speed. He's gone a long way to correct that. Terry Hogue, the fellow that's in there playing free safety right now, Buddy says has 4.6 speed, gets to the football quickly, and I think he's going to be an all-pro football player for him.
3rd and 5 at the 25. Sims quickly gets it off to McConkey, who will have the first down just beyond the 30-yard line. McConkey caught 25 passes last year as a receiver, including 1 touchdown.
Watch the blitz come up the middle by the Eagles. 2 defensive backs come on the blitz. McConkey reads it, just makes a quick sideline break to allow his quarterback, Phil Simms, to get rid of the football. Good coordination between receiver and quarterback that time. It's good for a Giant first down.
At the 31, and a good percentage day for Sims, as 8 receivers have caught passes. Morris to the 34. Take it Lee Roussan, who's come in the ball game, to the 34-yard line. The Eagles had struggled against the likes of Rodgers, Payton, and Winder, but against Dickerson and Riggs, they shut those 2 great backs down in the last 2 of them.
They've got 2 wins for their effort. No surprise that they won those last 2 ball games.
2nd down and 6 at the 35. 3 wide receivers. They dump it off to Carson. Sims close to the 38-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and short yardage for the Giants. The outside linebackers, Gary Cobb and Alonzo Johnson, in on the play.
When you're down at halftime, Dick, something you really like to see from your defensive football team is force the opposition into 3 plays and out. The Giants are in a position now that even if eventually they're forced to punt the ball away on this drive, they've done what they had to do. The ball will be placed in the Philadelphia end of the field.
Galbraith, number 30, is in the game, and he receives his pass at the 30, and Galbraith appears to have another first down beyond the 40. Evan Cooper made the tackle, and a good block from the left guard, Billy R. And we have an injured Eagle, Evan Cooper. They're close to the first down. Let's see where they spot the ball, and Cooper, who returned a punt 59 yards to set up the only Eagles score. A McFadden field goal is shaken up. It is a Giant first down.
And that's the 3rd time today that I can think of where a Giant receiver has caught the ball considerably short of the first down, and through second effort, breaking a couple of tackles, has gotten the Giants a first down. This time it was Tony Galbraith's turn, and he's in there as a wide receiver. He does a reverse pivot, comes out, and no one anywhere close, but it's the move. Right here he breaks a tackle, the inside fake, and back to the outside, and he picks up the first down by inches. And Tony Galbraith, more catches, more receptions than any active running back in the game of football right now.
Dan, Otis Anderson's arrival with the Giants, considering the backs they have, who will he affect the most of the backs that they have now?
I think that depends on whether or not he's capable of adapting to the fullback position. Maurice Carthen is the guy that you would think right now is on the bubble, that Otis Anderson, if he's capable of playing fullback, that he'll end up starting at fullback. Now we're forced into a position, though, of wondering who's going to lead block for whom. I mean, who is it going to be? Is it Morris for Anderson or vice versa? He is a good receiver, though. He had 70 catches in 1984.
How was he as a blocker?
Not very good. Through lack of practice. He's never done it before.
Mark Bavaro, who suffered a sprained foot, will not return for the Giants. Jerry Feary, who suffered a knee injury, also not coming back. The starting center for the Eagles, and Evan Cooper is still shaken up. Keep in mind, they've already lost Wes Hopkins, their outstanding free safety, for the season.
Let's see if we can pick it up at the end of the play. Tony Galbraith coming directly at Evan Cooper. Boy, it's very difficult to tell from that angle exactly what happened. He hits his right knee on Tony Galbraith. Look at his knee hyperextend right there as he tries to make the tackle. Galbraith, by breaking back to the sidelines, forced Cooper into hitting him with his right leg. We can see his knee flex, but he's up and walking towards the sideline. That's good news.
So Evan Cooper, who won the starting job, Herman Edwards was let go by the Eagles, the veteran, and Elbert Fowles was installed at right cornerback, but he had contract problems, so Cooper became the starter, and now because he's shaken up, Elbert Fowles replaces him, number 29, for the Eagles.
Well, when the Giants have the ball, we have banged-up wide receivers going up against banged-up defensive backs.
1st and 10 at the 42 for the Giants. 11:15 to go, 3rd quarter. Morris burst close to another Giant first down into Eagle territory, where Brenard Wilson and Gary Cobb combined to bring him down.
The New York Giants offensively asserting themselves. They've got the lead, they've got the football, and now they're playing on the Philadelphia end of the field. Look at Maurice Carthen put Mike Reichenbach on the ground. Joe Morris effectively following the lead block. Makes it a second and extremely short, fun down, my favorite down in the game.
Who has the first down. Greg Brown brings him down at the 46-yard line. We're seeing a lot of that same play. Morris left, Morris right, off of kind of a semi-Statue of Liberty move by Sims today.
And what they're doing is pulling linemen out in front of Joe Morris because he's so good at making that cut. And look at this, a tie ball game.
So the Angels, who snatched victory from the jaws of defeat last night against Clemens, and tied it up again, 6-6. 1st and 10 Giants on the Philadelphia 46. Sims up the middle as his tight end, Zeke Moat, and a fumble. And the Eagles may have it. Let's see who picked it up. Elbert Fowles recovered it, and it's going to be Philadelphia ball. Let's wait and see. The officials indicate it was a fumble.
This may be replay material.
Looks like that, doesn't it?
The pass inside, caught by Moat. There's no question that he has the football. Well, we see the football is free. Very difficult to tell from that angle whether or not it came out before or after he was down, but no question it did come out, and Fowles comes up with it. Let's see if we can see it here. Moat turns upfield. Boy,
they call it a fumble. Fowles recovers, and that's the first turnover by the Giants today.
They're still talking about it down on the field.
Now they've gone upstairs.
As you can see, the walkie-talkie is in use. The umpire in consultation with the replay official. Again, from the end zone. The hit by Cobb.
Looked like he had it and fumbled it.
It did from that angle.
And that's the angle that the officials upstairs see.
Now he's on the phone from the sidelines, Jerry Markbright, and you could tell by his face that he was told, wait a minute, we're still looking.
Cal Lepore on the right, who came up to you, I know, before.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
The man down.
Must be a long distance.
Cal.
And the Giant offense come on.
After further review, the runner is declared down. It's second down, Giants.
So they, in other words, in essence, blew the whistle. The runner was down.
They're saying no fumble, that the ball didn't come out until after Zeke Moat was on the ground.
But did they blow the whistle? They must have.
Yeah.
So it's second down and 2 at the 38. That was a big turnaround right there. Roussan and Carthen are the running backs. Roussan. First down, Giants. Byron Darby makes the tackle. First and 10 Giants on the Eagles' 30-yard line. And Roussan giving Joe Morris a rest in good fashion.
And the same play that Morris took for a touchdown. Chris Godfrey, the right guard, will pull and kick out. Carthen, the lead back, will come up, but Roussan is going to reverse his field and come back and make the play. A nice cut by Lee Roussan. There goes Godfrey inside Carthen, but look at Roussan make the cutback as the left side of the Giant line caved in the Eagle defense.
Giants have had the ball for the first 6 minutes of this second half. First and 10 at the 30. Sims up the middle. And Moat tried to get it on the deflection, and Reichenbach was covering.
Phil did his job. He got the ball to Moat. Very catchable. He just wasn't able to bring it down.
8:52 remaining in the third quarter. The Giants lead 14-3. Touchdowns both on the ground. Joe Morris for 30 yards and Phil Sims for 4. And the Eagles with a Paul McFadden field goal from 29 yards out.
And the Giants have had the ball the entire third quarter.
And they hand off to Roussan the same way they've been going to Morris, and he's stopped at the 30-yard line by Byron Darby. The Eagles' run defense, other than Morris's run, has been superb today.
As we talked about at halftime, they were relatively short scoring drives. This is by far and away the longest drive of the Giants and their most effective. And it comes at a perfect time when you're trying to assert control. If they should score another touchdown in this situation, now you've really forced the Eagles into playing serious comeback football. Tough to do against this New York team.
Ball's at the 30. drills it, and it's caught by McConkey. And a first down. 20-yard gain on a big third down play. William Frizzell on the stop.
What a throw by Phil Simms. McConkey works to the outside. Here you'll see him make his break to the inside. Just a slant, but look at that rope. No arc on that football whatsoever by Phil Simms. A perfect pass to Phil McConkey.
Yesterday in practice, Phil Simms told us that the Giants have been afraid to make a mistake. They've been too conservative. You think they're out of that mold now or not?
A touchdown on this drive, I think, would put them a long way to get out of that mold.
Joe Morris back in, running back. At the 10-yard line. First down, Simms. Touchdown, Solomon Miller. And that's his first NFL touchdown for the rookie from Utah State, Solomon Miller. And the Giants lead 20-3. You'll remember that one. A leg raise. Looking for the Giants' 21st point of the day. He's got it.
Phil Simms threw to Solomon Miller like a quarterback who has confidence in where he's going to throw the football, and he knows it's going to be caught. Look at him throw the ball right between the coverage. It actually hits one of the Eagles. Which one of the Eagle players hit that football?
Roynell Young.
But Solomon Miller there alertly comes down and makes a Phil Simms pass that could have been an interception. He turns it into a touchdown.
It's the longest scoring drive of the day, and the Giants chewed up 7 minutes and 45 seconds to take a 21-3 lead. Allegre kicking off to Totalatazi at the 7. And finally knocked out of bounds at the 23 by Hunt.
Solomon Miller, let's look at that replay again, will just make a break to the middle of the field. Roynell Young plays it perfectly. Look at the inside position. He gets inside Solomon Miller and actually gets the football. Can't hold on to it, and it bounces right to Solomon Miller, who kept eye contact with the football. Roynell Young has to be heartbroken. He had an interception right in his hands.
First and 10 Eagles on the 23, and Ron Jaworski 3 for 11 for only 17 yards today. Fires and going for Mike Quick over his head. We're in the top of the 10th at Anaheim. The Red Sox and the Angels tied 6-6. The Angels win, they'll go to the World Series. If the Red Sox win, they go to a 6th game in Boston.
That time Mike Quick made a break for the inside of the field. Ron Jaworski was under the impression that he was going to break towards the sideline. Threw it accordingly. No chance for completion.
2nd and 10. And Haddix, the intended receiver, incomplete. Harry Carson came in and stung him. You give the Giants defense a 21-3 cushion, you're in a lot of trouble.
And there are just too many players on this Giant defense that are capable of making the big play. That time Lawrence Taylor blitzed to the inside, was picked up on a play that he had gotten a sack before. So the Eagles did their job in that respect, and yet now it's Harry Carson's turn to make a big play.
And Randall Cunningham comes in on 3rd and 10. His 4th sack of the game.
Lawrence Taylor right here. His only job on this, because Randall Cunningham is in at quarterback, is to spy. He'll stay at the line line of scrimmage. It's his responsibility to cover Cunningham if he runs with the football. That's doing your job.
Telchik will punt from the 5. Familiar territory for the Eagle kicker today. Gets off a good one. McConkey inside the 30. And brought down at the 37-yard line. What a day for Lawrence Taylor, who has been a dominating football player.
Sunday on CBS Sports.
Another big day for Lawrence Taylor.
In the background, Randall Cunningham walks off the field. The emotion of the moment. It must feel good to know you're that good.
And they've got depth at every position, it seems.
They've just been taking turns, Dick. Carson the play before, that time Lawrence Taylor.
1st and 10 Giants on their own 38. And Otis Anderson in the ballgame to get some work out of bounds. A lot of people wonder why Otis Anderson isn't wearing number 32, the number he wore with the Cardinals. But that number was retired by the Giants. It was worn by a tackle, by the way, Al Blozis. Back in the World War years, he was killed in action in World War II in 1945. And in those days, tackles could wear low numbers like 32. That's why Otis Anderson has to settle for number 24 for the Giants.
I think this is an intelligent move by Bill Parcells. Get him in the game. You've got the lead. Break the ice. Let him get some work.
Morris in motion, 2nd and 6. Sidney, wide open, Moab. First down in the Eagle territory, the 38. 21-yard gain. And the Giants' other tight end goes to work.
Joe Morris is in motion as a wide receiver. Zeke Moa just the inside release off of Alonzo Johnson. And a blown coverage, I would have to think, by the Eagles, as no one in a white shirt anywhere within 3 or 4 yards of Zeke Moa.
Came back with impact against the Saints with 4 catches 2 weeks ago. He has 3 so far today. 1st and 10 at the Eagle 38. Otis Anderson cutting inside. To the 32, Mike Reichenbach and Bernard Wilson on the stop. And one of Bill Parcells' buddies, no, he's not a Giant coach. He's still coaching Indiana basketball. Bob Knight here at Giant Stadium, standing behind the Giant bench all the way near the wall.
I think he could afford a smile, what with the Giants having a lead. Pretty tough for him to be on the sidelines anywhere without some intensity. And a nice hand for Otis Anderson. He comes off these fans here in New York, they want him to perform and perform well so badly.
2nd and 4 at the 32. Fumble. Sims and Oates in a mix-up. Eagles pick it up.
They've got it.
Bernard Wilson comes out with the ball. So it's 21-3 Giants, but too early for Bill Parcells' concern for them to get a little careless.
And Bernard Wilson was right up on the line of scrimmage faking the blitz. You have to wonder if Sims doesn't try to get out early. But Bart Oates and Phil Sims misfire on a snap as they have done before. And Bernard Wilson was faking the blitz, comes up with the football.
And the first Giant turnover. And this one will count. 1st and 10 at the 34 for the Eagles. Jaworski looking for Quick. Mike Quick so far today has caught only 1 pass. Giants have done a good job on him. Needless to say, a great job on Ron Jaworski.
Lawrence Taylor just knocks Ron Jaworski all the way over backwards. He's going to beat the block of Haddix, but watch Lawrence Taylor finish off Jaworski. Pulling up. That's for the referee's sake, so he doesn't think he did it on purpose. And Jaws taking a beating at quarterback today.
Going to the bottom of the 10th in Anaheim, still tied, Boston and California. Jaworski has missed his last 5 passing attempts. He's 3 for 14. 3:58 on the clock. Intercepted by Patterson. Elvis Patterson Patterson. We heard a whistle. It may have been inadvertent. And a Giant is shaken up, Kenny Hill. Elvis Patterson with an interception, and Kenny Hill is shaken up for the Giants.
Well, we all heard a whistle. I don't know where it came from, maybe from the stands.
Spagnola was the intended receiver. It is an official's timeout, apparently.
Elvis Patterson lined up one-on-one on Michael Quick. Quick with the inside release, and Patterson cuts in front. The ball really poorly thrown. If it was intended for Mike Quick, the whistle, well, we've been informed that the whistle did come from the stands. It wasn't one of the officials down on the field. And Kenny Hill is up and running off the field. So good news there for the Giants.
And Dan Ron Jaworski threw an interception after 104 passes without an interception. And Patterson picked it off for the Giants. That is his first of the year. He led the Giants with 6 a year ago. Rough afternoon for Jaw.
Well, the Giants turn it over and the Eagles give it right back.
3:49 remaining. Third quarter. First and 10 Giants on the Eagle 21. Otis Anderson slips. Helped a little bit by Mike Reichenbach. And down at the 18-yard line. 21-3, the Giants lead the Eagles. No score after one period. The Giants led 14-3 at the half.
Joe Morris in this situation being used really as a wide receiver. He's coming out of the backfield, flaring out, and actually being used as a wide receiver because of all the injuries to the Giant wideouts.
Second down and 7.
The second touchdown pass of the day that was dropped by a Giant receiver. Remember the one that McConkey dropped? This time Phil Simms with another perfect throw. Only this time it's Zeke Mowat's turn to drop the football. Nice touch on the football. Lays it right into the hands of Zeke Mowat, and he just plain drops it. Phil Simms, he thinks he's got it right there. Oh, come on. Well, he's got another shot at it.
On 3rd and 7 with exactly 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Inside handoff to Galbraith. Almost lost the ball. Nearly had it stripped away. It was Drake Brown who brought it down. Close to a first down. And time is called. Unusual play. Galbraith, normally a receiver out of the backfield, and it is a Giant first down.
The last couple of times, Tony Galbraith has been doing his Gale Sayers impersonation out here on the field. Tony's not a young guy, and yet, boy, he is really putting some quick footwork on the Eagles out on the field.
Dick Stockton and Dan Deerdorf, Giants Stadium. The Giants leading 21-3 with 2:29 remaining in the third quarter, trying to win their 5th in a row for the first time in 16 years. Just outside the 10, Morris gets squeezed for a loss by Reichenbach.
Joe Morris, who's been spending most of his time in a wide receiver position, that time had no opportunity to turn upfield. Another good example of the Eagles and how well they flow to the football. This third quarter has certainly been all New York.
And Jerry Markbright is saying, look, I want to make sure I can read that number 20. He's going to need an equipment change, I think, soon. 2nd and 12. Simms going for Mowat, and he couldn't do it. Defended by Reichenbach out of the end zone and juggled again by Zeke.
That time Moat was better covered than the time previous. Sims had no opportunity, no choice but to lay the ball in high. That would have been a much more difficult catch if Moat could have made it. Let's look at it from high above in the end zone. Yeah, he really just got his left hand up there. Even if he could have brought it in, he would have been out of the back of the end zone. Good coverage that time by Philadelphia.
It's 3rd and 12. Roussan. And he won't get much, but they'll set up a solid field goal opportunity for Raul Alegre. On 4th down, Alegre had a 47-yard field goal blocked early in the first quarter, and now will get another opportunity, and that was his first miss since joining the Giants 2 weeks ago. Jeff Rutledge will do the honors as the holder. This will be a 30-yard attempt for Alegre. Touchdown. Rutledge to Carson. Well, I guess not all the tricks were out of the bag. Bill Parcells' quarter. Rutledge throws to Harry Carson for the touchdown on field goal formation, and the Giants lead it 27-3. His second NFL touchdown. And now Alegre.
We saw them working on the fake field goal. They've got a flag down out there on the field.
It's against the Giants, and so Alegre will have to kick it again.
We saw them working on the fake field goal during practice. Bill Parcells said, what the heck? This is the second time now we've been penalized on an extra point. Let's get the call.
Number 60 on the offense. Free kick.
That's Brad Benson.
Lawrence Taylor, who was the receiver, and I guess seniority won out. Taylor plays the one wing back, Carson the other. It was Harry's turn.
And Parcells says, you know, Taylor has real good hands. That would be a good play for us.
It was a good catch that time by Harry.
A 30-yard conversion is good. And the Giants lead the Eagles 28-3 with 40 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Jeff Rutledge is the holder. He'll put the ball down and bring it right back up. The Eagles at this point in time have no idea fake is underway. And this is a pretty good catch by Harry. Got the gloves on, got the tape on the knuckles. He says, what the heck? I'll make the catch. Harry Carson with the touchdown. The Giants with the big lead.
And when they put his picture up on the message board, the crowd chanted, Harry, Harry. That's for Carson, who scored the Giants touchdown. Total Akazi on the return. Brings it up to the 29-yard line for an NFL Today report. Here's Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
All right, Dick, San Francisco is ahead of Minnesota. It's 24-17. Back to throw is Jeff Kemp. He has 328 yards, and it's intercepted by Carl Lee. The Vikings with a chance to upset the 49ers right now. Fourth quarter, let's go back to Dick Stockton in the Meadowlands.
Thank you, Brent. And the Vikings coming back after their shutout loss to the Bears last week in the game. 1st and 10 at the 30 for the Eagles. Fired. He's strong, and he'll get a first down right around the 40-yard line. Herb Welsh and Harry Carson make the tackle. Gain of 11.
Well, the Giants can keep this up, they'll find themselves in a tie for first place in the NFC East.
They had not scored 21 points in the last 4 games. They scored 28 in a losing cause to Dallas in the opener, 31-28, and this is their best scoring output since. That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Giants 28 and the Eagles 3. Stockton and Dan Deerdorf here at Giants Stadium as we start the fourth quarter with the Giants way out ahead of the Eagles, 28-3. The Eagles have managed only 46 yards total offense all day against a great defense. Doesn't loom too well for the Eagles.
That's hard to believe at this point in time of a football game that you don't even have 50 yards offense.
Myers going outside, and Elvis Patterson stops him for no gain and maybe a loss of 1.
Rather than heading toward the 50s, they're working their way back towards the 30s at that pace.
Dallas beating Washington today. The Cardinals with their first win of the season. And the standings in the NFC East right now. If the Giants win, they'll move into a tie with the Redskins for first, and the Dallas Cowboys will be just a game behind. And Dallas and Philadelphia play next week. Giants go to Seattle. 2nd and 10. Jaworski. Tautalatozzi was the intended receiver. Andy Hedden covering. Now next Sunday, the Dallas-Philadelphia game will be seen by our viewers in the Philadelphia area because the game has been sold out at Veterans Stadium. It'll be seen in New York as well. The second game of the doubleheader will be the Giants at Seattle, seen only in New York. And that'll be a great matchup. The Giants against the Seahawks in the Kingdome. Randall Cunningham is in at quarterback on 3rd and 10. He's been under siege all day. And Leonard Marshall with his 2nd sack.
And Lawrence Taylor may be hurt as he ran into his own teammate. Taylor down on the field. Remember how he's been staying in that spy position? He was in that position again. And when he went to make the play that time on Cunningham, he ran right into one of his own teammates.
Well, this could really put a damper on any size Giant victory. And we hope Taylor's all right.
Lawrence Taylor is going to move upfield, try to hit Randall Cunningham. Instead, he's going to make contact right there with George Martin. And George Martin's left thigh and knee makes contact right with Lawrence Taylor on top of the helmet, and he's dazed.
Taylor is having a fantastic year. So is Carl Banks, the other outside linebacker. But Taylor really the heart and soul of that group.
Anytime it's a blow to the head, real sign of concern.
You pointed out earlier, the injuries to Parcells' Giants so far have been to the skilled offensive people this year.
Yeah, they've not really been touched much on the defensive side of the ball. And Bill Parcells, I'm sure, can hardly look as Lawrence Taylor is down on the field. This is when you really want to see someone get up and start walking off the field.
Taylor has 4 sacks today, Marshall 2. Giants have gotten the Eagle quarterback 6 times. They decked Lomax 7 times last week in St. Louis. And he's going to get up to this applause.
Well, a little rubbery at the knees, but walking under his own power, Lawrence Taylor heads to the sideline. Bad effort by one guy.
Kelchick will kick for the Eagles, and McConkey for the Giants. End over end. Takes an Eagle bounce inside inside the 25. And we'll return to Giant Stadium after this word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru and the Subaru XT, the Sport Magazine Super Bowl MVP Award. Bud Light, everything else is just a light. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Here at Giant Stadium, Lawrence Taylor was wobbly leaving the field. Pinched nerve for Lawrence Taylor. He's expected to return to the game. I don't know why at 28-3.
I wouldn't put him back in.
Otis Anderson on a carry on 1st and 10. Shows a little of the skills that made him the Cardinals' top man for 7 years. Evan Cooper knocks him out of bounds with 28-3. He's the last guy I'd bring up. As you look at the Boston, California score, top of the 11th in Anaheim.
One of the things that Otis Anderson does so well is he likes to deliver a blow to the defensive back when they come up to try to make the tackle. He really swings a mean right arm, especially when he's running like he was just then to his left. He'll actually cock that thing and give it a pretty good swing at one of the tackler's helmets.
2nd and 5 at the 29. And it's Anderson. And Otis Anderson is a first down and more. And he pulled up lame. And Otis Anderson pulled a muscle. He picked up 16 yards, and how frustrated and distraught he is at that Giants sideline.
Well, Anderson has had assorted leg problems the last couple of years in St. Louis. This is the old counter tray play where he makes the counter step to the right. But the first time today that he's been able to run at full speed, right there, you can see him favoring now his right leg, clutching at his right hamstring. Anderson goes out of bounds, and that was the first time today that he was able to run at full speed.
1st and 10 at the 45. Carthen replaces him. Roussan carries, and a penalty marker is down. The Red Sox have scored a run in the top of the 11th. Lead the Angels.
Ball start, number 66, offense, 2nd down.
William Roberts, the left tackle. Anderson was most pleased coming to the Giants, not only for the obvious reasons of going to a winner, but he's just married and his wife is from East Orange, New Jersey.
But going to a winner did have a nice effect on Otis. He told me, you know, one day I'm 0-5, the next day I'm 4-1.
1st and 15 at the 40. Roussan to the 42. And now for an NFL Today report, let's go across the river to Brent.
All right, Dick, on the move, Tommy Kramer. He has passed for 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. This one to Anthony Carter. 6:37 to go, and the Minnesota Vikings have tied the San Francisco 49ers. And as you said, 7-6 right now. Red Sox lead the Angels. Let's go back to Dick Stockton.
So the Vikings coming back against the 49ers. And Atlanta beating Los Angeles today. That NFC West is an interesting tussle these days. 2nd and 13. Carthen with one of his rare carries. Powers his way close to first down yardage. Into Eagle territory. He'll be shy by a yard. Brenard Wilson makes the tackle. Cleveland Browns over the Kansas City Chiefs today, 20-7. The Denver Broncos way ahead of San Diego, 31-7, undefeated in the AFC. The Raiders are leading Seattle, so that's anyone's ball game in the 4th quarter. And that'll set up. Should be a fascinating clash coming up. 3rd and 1 at the 46. Damian Johnson, number 68 on short yardage, is in the game, and Roussan dives for what appears to be a first down to the 44.
Everybody's doing it, putting the big man in the backfield. That time the Giants put Damian Johnson, number 68, as their lead blocker.
Johnson, a guard, And we're going to have a measurement right now to see whether Roussan has the first down with 12:31 remaining. And it's close, but it's a Giant first down. First down, Giants. What's Parcells unhappy about?
I don't know. You see at the left part of your screen, Damian Johnson, number 68, will make the lead block. Tony Galbraith there in motion, number 30. Right here is Damian Johnson. We can just see him. Tony will go here in motion. He'll come right on through. Ball carrier behind. Does he get anybody? Semi.
First and 10. I like that analysis. Roussan is hit at the line of scrimmage. Continuing our story about the AFC West. Denver undefeated. Seattle battling the Raiders right now. Kansas City is now 3-3 on the year. And next week it'll be the Giants against Seattle. Check your local listing. 2nd and 9 at the 44. Sims. Bobby Johnson, the intended receiver, nearly a pickoff by Evan Cooper.
Evan Cooper read that ball as being upfield, made a break for it. Pretty nice work by Bobby Johnson, doing a spin and getting to the ball. He almost brought it in.
Taylor, who could come back, but likely will not. They don't want to risk him in a 28-3 game when the Giants are really going into the heat of their schedule coming up in the next 3 games.
And with a pinched nerve like that, Dick, it's rest that really makes it better, really nothing else. So it would be wise to keep Lawrence Taylor out of the ballgame.
Sims to Galbraith. Diving close to first down yardage at the 36-yard line. It'll be 4th down, and the crowd wants the Giants to go for it. It is 4th and actually 2 yards from where we see it. We're going to call a timeout, Parcells said. And that's what the Giants do. Timeout on 4th and 2. Parcells doesn't look like a guy who's leading 28-3.
No, he sure does not. We'll be back. Big lead, New York.
Giants have called a timeout, and now they've got things straightened out. It'll be 4th and 2. The scoreboard says 1, but it's really 2 yards to a first down. And the Giants leading 28-3. 2 of 5 on 4th down conversion. Sims going deep for Roussan. He's got it. Touchdown. To Roussan, and Dan, they had a lot of time to play in that one, didn't they?
Boy, they took time to talk it over. Lee Roussan wide open. 3 steps in front of Alonzo Johnson and Buddy Ryan. His topsy-turvy defense. All of a sudden looking more like the Eagle defense that played the first couple of weeks of the season, not the last 2.
And Roussan, like Solomon Miller, score his first NFL touchdown, and it's 34-3. This is the most points the Giants have scored all year, and Raul Alegre adds the 35th point with 10:43 to go, and the Giants are really putting it to Buddy Ryan's Philadelphia Eagles.
Play action takes everyone by surprise. The fake that time to Carthen. Lee Roussan had flared out to the right side, just turned it upfield. Alonzo Johnson playing the run, has no choice but to watch Lee Roussan from behind. That must feel good. I don't know.
Never, huh?
Bill Sims, who's seen a couple drop today in the end zone. This game's in the bag.
And for Buddy Ryan, his improved defense isn't going to look good in the numbers after this one. Buddy's upset. Parcells is upset. Everyone's upset. You're not upset, are you?
No, but I think Mr. Ryan is. Some things speak for themselves. I think Buddy just took care of that.
Allegre kicking off for the Giants. Charles Crawford for the Eagles. We had no score after one quarter, and the Giants scored 14 points in each of the second and third quarters and one touchdown here. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes features a story on a happy little American boy who used to be a starving little African boy. A Midwest couple saw him on 60 Minutes and went and got him. Then it's the award-winning series Murder, She Wrote, which will be followed by the TV movie Circle of Violence, a family drama starring Tuesday Weld and Geraldine Fitzgerald. That's all tonight here on CBS. Jaworski stays in there for the Eagles. Takes the punishment. And a flag down. Spagnola defended by Banks and apparently was interfered with. Bottom of the 11th, the Red Sox lead the Angels now 7-6.
Pass interference, number 58. Defense, automatic first down.
First down, Eagles. They appear to be getting more first downs by penalty than by the normal course of things this year. 5 first downs, 2 of them by penalty, so up close.
Before that, they have 40 yards in total offense, 355 for the Giants. This is one of the most lopsided total yardage differentials I've ever seen.
First and 10 at the 29. Jaworski in trouble. At the 42-yard line. He did for 13 yards. What a great play in a rout here by John Spagnola.
Jaws under pressure, has to leave the pocket. He'll float out to the right. A fine throw on the run, but Spagnola's going to spear this with one hand. Up into the air, takes his eye complete, doesn't have any idea where it is, and then pulls it back in with his right hand. Concentration on the ball.
Think we'll see that in some highlights tonight?
I think a very good chance.
First and 10 at the 42 with 9:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Hannes gets nothing. Jim Burt on the stop. And they have to separate some of the players, Spagnola and Lawrence Taylor. So Lawrence Taylor indeed came back into the game.
Well, I think he just wanted to come in and tell John what a fine catch that was last time around. I don't think these players get enough credit for being the true sportsmen that they really are.
Worst passing day for the Eagles was back in 1936, and they're matching that. Second and 10 at the 42. Jaworski fires. It was intended for Kenny Jackson and fell just between everyone else. Herb Wells was closest to it.
I want to clarify something there for some of you that maybe aren't up on the rules of football. You saw 0 passing yardage there for the Eagles, and you're going to say, what do you mean Spagnola just caught that pass? Sacks are deducted from total passing yardage. So every time Jaworski is dropped, and he's been dropped 6 times today for 40 yards and losses, those are deducted from your total passing figures. That's where the big 0 comes in.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, somebody's going to say, well, I just saw him make a catch.
Third and 10, Anthony Toney, number 25, is in there as a blocker for Cunningham, who's going for Ron Johnson. And Johnson makes a catch at the 21-yard line of the Giants.
And he's hurt.
37 yards to Ron Johnson. And he, as you point out, shaken up. All of his catches this year for Johnson have been for either a first down or a touchdown.
Randall Cunningham gets inserted into the football game and really under difficult circumstances repeatedly. This is the second time we've seen him make a superior throw, that time to Ron Johnson. The Eagles trying to get a touchdown.
What a beautiful picture of the moon. That's as it looks. That's live at Giant Stadium. Dick Stockton and Dan Deerdorf here. Darkness in New York. We have 8:48 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Giants winning big. Eagles have a 1st and 10 on the Giant 20 following that 37-yard catch by Ron Johnson. Jaworski with a lot of time for a change. Running out of it. Incomplete. Anthony Toney, maybe Spagnola was the intended receiver. Well, the Boston Red Sox hung in there and stayed alive and beat the California Angels in 11 innings, 7-6. Angels still lead in the series 3-2. Game 6 will be in Boston on Tuesday. Here, no contest. The Giants leading 35-3, and Ron Johnson was helped off the field. Joe Morris scored first for the Giants. It was 7-3. Phil Simms ran for 4. Then he threw a touchdown pass to Solomon Miller. And then Rutledge on a fake field goal threw to Harry Carson. There was another touchdown. That was to Lee Russo. Pass into the end zone is incomplete by Jaworski, and it was intended for Mike Quick, who hasn't done much today.
He's been throttled pretty well, and Ron Jaworski having just a terrible passing day, one of the worst of his entire career. And he can't even get out of the pocket and get any protection. That time, even on the run, Jim Burt caught him and threw him to the ground again.
There's the last score by the Giants, and Ron Johnson over in the Philadelphia bench being worked on.
This is the best pass rush.
3rd down and 10 at the 20. Randall Cunningham is the man. Sees some room to run. He's at the 10 and out of bounds inside the 10. That'll be enough for a 1st down for the Eagles. And for an NFL Today report, here's Brent Musburger. What do you got, Brent?
Well, Dick, what we got, next week's opponent for the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks, have been beaten. This was one of Jim Plunkett's touchdown passes today, and it was a thing of beauty. He avoided the rush, and he hit Jesse Hester, and the Raiders win. They're the 3rd straight time. They are now 3-3. Incidentally, Dick, Calvin Schiraldi comes in and does the job for the Red Sox in the last inning. What a comeback. Let's go back to Dick Stockton.
That's big for Calvin Schiraldi, Brent, considering his huge heartbreak of last night. 1st and goal for the Eagles at the 9. Jaworski going for Kenny Jackson out of the end zone, covered by Herb Welch. And a penalty marker is down behind the line of scrimmage. Personal foul, sorry.
Yeah, that's going to be a roughing the passer call. Jaworski is going to have to spend some long hours in the hot tub after this ball game. He's been beat up and roughed up pretty good by the Giants. That time a little too much after the whistle.
He had already suffered 2 concussions coming into this game.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 70, defense, 1st down.
Leonard Marshall in the middle of the screen, working against Tom Gillespie, comes off late. Oh, I don't know if he hardly even made contact. Carl Banks, the linebacker, is actually who dropped Jaworski. Leonard Marshall just seemed to run on by and graze him.
1st and goal on the 4. 1st down on the penalty. Keith Byers. Forget it. Who can run against the Giant defense? You wonder, you know.
Not many people. They just get to the football so well, and they have so much pride. You know, this is very interesting to me. We're under 8 minutes left in the ball game. The Giants are up 35-3, and yet look at the defensive team that is on the field right now. They don't want a touchdown. Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, all their starters are out there on the field right now.
Don't forget, coming up after the game, 60 minutes. Giants defense has not given up a touchdown in the last 11 quarters. It is 2nd and goal, back at the 5, loss of 1 on the last play. Keith Byers will lose some more. Jim Burt and Elvis Patterson This Giant defense is ferocious. And they'll go against Seattle, and you want to talk about a good running back. Kurt Warner, who led the AFC in rushing coming into this week, will go against that defense next week.
And Kurt Warner, in that situation, might have had a tendency to take it upfield a little quicker than Keith Byers. Keith Byers tried to get to the corner, and I think that while he might have gotten to the corner against some collegiate teams at Ohio State, it's going to be a little tougher in this league, and he didn't have a chance of rounding the corner on that play.
Philadelphia's all touchdowns have all come through the air this year. Today they have nothing. Randall Cunningham in there. 3rd and 9. Throws. Incomplete. Broken up by Terry Kennard, intended for Mike Quick. And it's 4th down. The Eagles will go for it to try to get on the board touchdown-wise.
Cunningham from under center just moves a little bit because of the Giant blitz. And this really isn't a situation where you can say that the Eagles are playing all that badly. That is just a fine defensive play by Terry Kennard as Cunningham thought he had a touchdown when he released it. Good play by Kennard. It's tough to get on the Eagles for playing bad football, Dick. The Giants today are just making all the big plays. 4th down. The intended receiver, and the Giants take over on down. Garrity, nothing but the fade pattern. Cunningham puts the ball up immediately, and Terry Williams just plays it perfectly. Takes the inside position, turns to the football when he knows it's in the air, and easily makes the play. That could have been an interception.
Jeff Rutledge is the new quarterback for the Giants, and Maurice Carson running the ball.
You think it meant a lot to these guys that they didn't let him get in the end zone? A prideful group of men, not to mention extremely talented.
And a team going into a tie for first place in the NFC East as the Dallas Cowboys thump the Washington Redskins today. And both teams will be 5-1. The Cowboys will be in 3rd at 4-2. 2nd down and 7. Sims with an impressive day today. We'll give you his numbers after this play. Carson. And a penalty marker is down. For an NFL Today report, we're going to delay that.
Reggie White is laying on the ground. I think we'll probably have a holding call against New York, but
13th penalty of the game against the Giants.
Holding, number 68, offense, 2nd down.
Damian Johnson. And while Reggie White is down, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Dick, we've got 5 seconds left in San Francisco. Jeff Kemp has used the clock beautifully. Ray Wersching's 38-yard field goal, and it hits the upright. Ricochets left. The Vikings and the 49ers go into overtime. Vikings win the flip. They've got the ball at midfield. Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, Brent, so the Vikings coming back strong, and now overtime against the 49ers. Meanwhile, Reggie White shaken up.
often, by the way, Dick, do you see Ray Wersching missing that type of a situation, hitting the upright? Wow.
Bill Sims on the day as White gets up, 20 of 29. Completed 20 of 29 passes for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bill Sims today. And Jeff Rutledge in his 8th year, seeing his first action at quarterback this year. Didn't play at all at quarterback last year, a former Ram. Hostetler, the third quarterback, is in the game as a wide receiver. 2nd and 13. For a couple.
I know one thing about Jeff Hostetler. When he comes up to the line of scrimmage, lined up as a wide receiver, he must hear all the Eagle defensive backs fighting among themselves to see who gets to cover him. This time, Roydell Young, 1 out.
Senior man.
We're liable to see fistfights in the huddle to see who gets to cover Jeff Rutledge.
We have 2 unbeaten teams, the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos. All that's left. Giants will win their 5th in a row. 3rd and 11. At the 9. Roussan. And Lee Roussan. Shy of a first down. Andre Waters making the tackle. Shy by about a yard, that's all. Forget 60 minutes will follow, and we have 5 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter.
For the New York Giants, as Don Zaleski appears to be shaken up on the sidelines. Oh, a quick punt here by the Giants.
Sean Landetta. Junior Tartalatazzi goes back. Evan Cooper had handled those chores until now. Tartalatazzi's never been a punt returner in college days or in the pros. And he won't pick one up here. The kick is down at the 42.
All right, on our way back to Giant Stadium for the completion of this one. Doubleheader next Sunday on CBS, 12:30.
Thank you very much, Brent. 35-3 to score, and what a great NFC East race, as everyone had anticipated, is really developing now.
What was a surprise to me today was the way that Dallas handed it to Washington. I think that was somewhat of a shock. I really like the Washington Redskins. But boy, now it's all knotted up. And this Giant ball club, what's this now, 5 in a row?
How do you figure teams coming back? Minnesota, after losing to Chicago, comes back strong. Overtime against San Francisco. Philadelphia could do that, too, against Dallas.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. This Philadelphia ball club is a lot better than the scoreboard is telling us today. They're going to be a factor in the race. They're certainly not going to win it. They're not going to go to the playoffs, probably. But they are a good up-and-coming ball club, and they're capable of beating anyone in this division.
And they hit hard. 1st and 10 at the 42. Jaworski. And flips it out to Anthony Toney. And Toney, who was activated when Wes Hopkins went on injured reserve. 2nd-round draft pick, Eric Dorsey on the tackle. So let's take another look at the standings in the NFC East. And the Redskins, with their first loss, the Giants will be tied with them. Dallas a game behind, and Philadelphia 3 games behind the leaders, but they could tighten things up next week. 2nd and 7 at the 45. Up the middle to Spagnola. Good game. Fumble. Giants have it. And now things are getting a little rough out there. Let's see if the whistle had blown or Spagnola coughed it up after the catch. He did, and it'll be Giant ball. Mark Collins recovered the fumble for the Giants.
Well, nothing seems to be going right for Philadelphia today. Sometimes that just happens. John Spagnola is wide open, tries to make something happen. Carl Banks hits him from the side, and the ball is loose, and clearly a fumble. Giants have it.
Question. In New York, I know the fans say the Giant defense is the reason why the Eagles have been so woeful on offense. In Philadelphia, they're saying, when are we going to get an attack?
Well, they've had an attack for the last couple of weeks. I think they've moved the ball effectively. Part of this is because of what the Giants are doing. They're hitting very hard. Hard hitting causes mistakes.
Carson. Close to midfield. Told you the Giants' schedule gets a little tougher after playing New Orleans, St. Louis, and Philadelphia. Look at the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's an extraordinary schedule for the Giants. Nothing easy in there at all. Washington, Dallas back-to-back. Then on the road. And this Philadelphia team, you know, anybody who thinks that this is a ball club that's only going to win a couple ball games the rest of the year.
Look at those games.
Denver, San Francisco, Washington. A good finish, though, for the Giants. You have to look at home, St. Louis and Green Bay. Leading into the playoffs, those are the kind of teams you like to play.
2nd and 4 at the 49. Under 3 minutes remaining. A big Giant victory on the scoreboard. Carson. Loss on the play. Lawrence Taylor left something on the ground.
Well, we knew his neck was sore. Incognito on the bench. Lawrence Taylor has called it a day. I think he's earned a rest. Mr. Touchdown, Harry Carson next door.
Caught a touchdown pass from Jeff Rutledge on a fake field goal. We wind down to the 2-minute warning. The Giants will have won their 5th straight game. First time they've done that in 16 years. And 5-1 start, their best since 1961. Carson. Big gaping hole, and Frizzell makes the tackle at the 40-yard line. A gain of 12, and now our 2-minute warning is in effect here at Giant Stadium. That's our story here at Giant Stadium. While we have a moment, we want to thank Marty Aronoff, our spotter, and Roger Riley, our statistician. Outstanding work by both gentlemen. In the waning minute or so of this ball game, and the Giant defense, which gave up 31 against Dallas in the opening game of the year, have only given up 42 points in the 5 games since. Tremendous effort by a great defense. 1st and 10 Giants on the Eagle 41. Carson getting some work as a ball carrier for a change to the 36. This was moments ago on the Giant bench. Well, they started this last year.
Oh! Normally it's Bill Parcells that's the recipient of a little Gatorade bath.
A little hijinks.
Oh, Elvis Patterson
got Harry Carson. All right. Things wouldn't be complete without a little shower before the end of a game. 2nd and 4 at the 35.
I hope that's not the only one he takes.
You see him in the parking lot in full uniform. The answer will be yes. Carson. Out of bounds, close to a 1st down, and the clock continues to run. He did not get out of bounds. We have under a minute to play. Reichenbach and Young. Lawrence Taylor is the man sitting down, and Bill Parcells just congratulated him on another fantastic effort.
Bill Parcells has to be very proud of this Giant defense.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 30. Welcome those who saw the San Francisco-Minnesota game. You're not going to see much here. That'll be the last play of the game. We like to have given you a little more excitement, but you're looking at the last seconds of the Giants win over the Philadelphia Eagles 35-3, which puts them in 1st place tie with the Washington Redskins. And for Bill Parcells, he is now 29-28 over 500 as a head coach in the NFL. Vikings beat the 49ers in overtime, 27-24. And for Dan Deerdorf, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Giant Stadium. The final score here, the Giants 35, the Eagles 3. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.